Today, while coming here, I was told by Khushbuji that why people are going to come and listen to you is because they want a tip from you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to stand before you at Northeast Calling organized by the Vivekananda Kendra, an institution that lives the timeless ideals of Swami Vivekananda and the vision of Eknath Randeji. Today we celebrate the principle Manav Seva hi Madhav Seva, service to humanity is service to God. Today we also saw a beautiful dance by the young girls depicting all the 7 states from Northeast, and in the voice of Bhupen Hazarika. We grew up listening to many of his songs, even we didn't know what it meant, but he was so melodious and he brought the ideas of what Northeast would be in our mind when we were young. Of course, we also grew up in times just post China war, and so I recall some of the songs, Bomb Dilla, Bomb Dilla, Bomb Dilla, Bomb Bomb, and many other things. Some of the young people may not have heard of those songs. And so Northeast was always a fascination, and it is a fascination for me, but probably many Indians. And Northeast is not something very far, because the way we have depicted it, the way the modern society got developed, and when we became nation state and independent, we ended up creating a framework, an artificial framework which has separated us, and we think it is very far. The fact is, from Mahabharata time, the Northeast has been part of the Indian culture, Hindu culture, Sanatan culture, whatever culture we say, it has been a very confident culture there, and it is a very confident or inclusive culture here. And so in Mahabharata, Arjun, who is literally the hero, of course, for us, even Krishna is the main hero, but there is a hero, Arjun, and he goes to Manipur and marries a girl called Chitrangada. And then somewhere else, in the same story, he goes to Nagaland and also marries a girl called Ulupi. So we have, since long, we have had a history connecting us. I mean, if you go to Manipur, I have had the privilege to be the director of NID Manipur from 2015 to 2018. And Srimati Najma Heptullah used to be the governor, because I had to visit frequently, and it was a nationally important institution of repute. We used to interact also frequently, and some of our programs used to come. And one of the programs she mentioned that, you know, Chauhan, I have spent so much time here now that I can recognize all the way, all 40 tribes of Manipur wear their dresses. Each tribe has its own way of wearing dresses, how they wear, and just by looking at the colors, I can tell you which tribe the person is from. And that is how India has been, it has been so rich. You go to Arunachal, because now, and I am in Mumbai, but because of my association with Northeast, also my ABVP friends, Sunil Ambekarji and Ashish Chauhan, there is a similar, person with the same name as mine, Ashish Chauhan, and so they have been sort of insisting that I have to spend a lot of time in Northeast. So I do spend some time visiting Northeast, including I have visited Vivekananda Kendra in Guwahati. But SEAL is another program where we have been welcoming students from all northeastern states. Those parents send their children to stay with different houses in different parts of India. And the ABVP brings them for more than 60 years now, and then make them stay for 10, 15, 20 days, make them see the culture, experience the culture, and similarly, the students from here may also go there. We also sponsor at NSE the bike rallies to explore the Northeast, and every year for last 4 or 5 years, even women special rallies are taken out where they explore for 7 to 10 days on bikes, because there may not be great roads, but beautiful places to see. So many biker, even women groups are now exploring Northeast, creating trails and things like that, so that many of us later on will be able to go there as tourists. And so we are doing whatever we can at NSE. Of course, today in Northeast we have around 32 to 33 lakh investors investing into stock markets, out of which around 9 lakh are women, more than 29%. And Northeast population of all the 7 sisters is around 3.5–4% of India's total population. And the number of investors are also similar in terms of percentages. So I used to always think, because I have been in the stock market for now almost 34 years as an administrator, and today while coming here, I was told by Khushbuji that why people are going to come and listen to you is because they want a tip from you. And I told that there is a misconception that people who administer stock markets are people who can give tips. But fact is, I don't even invest in stocks. So whoever has come to listen, you might be disappointed in that part. But so be it. For me, Northeast is an absolutely important part of India, and a nation that is not secure internally and externally is not going to be prosperous. And a promise, an implicit promise of any nation, and especially Bharat, has to be that all our citizens have to be prosperous. A prosperous nation also will be a safe nation, a secure nation, not only in terms of security from external countries, external forces, but also from within. Security is required at many levels in many dimensions. And some of that, of course, most important is the security for the defense. But without that, we can't actually have a society. But once we have it, what are the other security? And how does that security come? Security can come from being confident about our culture. You could see those young girls, many of them were not from Northeast. But still, they were looking as if they were part of the culture. And that culture from Karnataka is able to actually accommodate, assimilate what came from Northeast. That is what I call confident culture, a secure culture. There will be attempts to destabilize it. Those are what I call storms in the teacup. Tens of thousands of years this society has survived. This society has talked to each other. This society has worked with each other. With all our trials, our tribulations over the millenniums, and even now, we have still stayed together. With all our differences in looks, in height, in languages, we still appreciate each other. There is a thread which is there somewhere back of our mind. When Bhupen Hajarika sings, he looks like he's singing in my own language. And that is what we need to understand, that whatever people try to take you out in the name of language, in the name of in the name of caste, in creed, in religion, for me it is very important to understand that these are storms in the teacup. This country not only will survive, but it will thrive. And all these small little storms will pass. Don't be insecure. And that is what, for me, it's very important. But why I work, what field I work in is creating financial security. Financial security requires people to have jobs, because you may have a very rich nation with very rich people, but largely poor people. That nation will not be secure. We need to have a framework which allows people to live with dignity. Each and every citizen, each and every child, to have opportunities. And that's where those societies cannot be top driven. Those societies will have to be bottoms up. As Nassim Taleb, I don't know how many of you have read Nassim Nicholas Taleb. He's one of the greater thinkers of our times. And he has written a book called Anti-Fragile. There is an inherent fragility, inherent in disequilibrium in every system, every human, every mind. And how does that become anti-fragile or less fragile, becomes more stable, more equilibrium oriented? This is when something else comes in, it doesn't get frightened. It doesn't start running here and there. And that anti-fragility will come only out of a system, a society that is built up from ground, not from top. That five thinkers think and all of us behave. That is not our culture. That is not our way of living life. We have all tried to do our own way. It may look like a random activity, everyone is trying, but together the society has done some wonderful work. In last 78, 79 years, since independence, have been amongst the golden periods of coming together as one nation. It is easy to create one state, but it's not easy to create one nation. When India became independent, Winston Churchill also had said, we'll see whether India remains India in one in next 20 years. And now we celebrated 79th Independence Day, right? So effectively, and it will continue because this is one culture, one way of doing things, one life, and within its own myriad of colors. India has the maximum number of colors we wear. We depict, many times I go to Gulf or Europe or America, and most people have never visited India. And when they call me up saying, I'm coming to India, I said, beware of the diversity we will bring to you. You think you are multicultural America, multiracial. We have, in that small little place, 17% of world population, with myriad of languages. I mean, last time when India counted, we had 1,530 languages. After that, we stopped counting. Okay, what is the point? And so, and cuisines across the country. You literally go every 12 miles and the speech changes. The way of speaking changes. The cuisine also changed slightly differently. And Dr. Balu can tell you even the microcultures continue to change. So many tribes, so many colors of people, right? Not only colors of clothes. And that is where this culture will continue. It will continue to add value to itself, but it will become Vishwaguru, as Swami Vivekananda envisaged, provided we are prosperous. If you are poor, as a society, nobody is going to listen to you, including yourself, your children. Because everyone wants to have physical good things. And we have to learn to appreciate, we have to learn to provide for that in our scheme of things. We have always appreciated ascetics, people who give up. But that is only examples. Those are people who are great, but everyone cannot be great. They want good life, and we have to provide a reasonable life, if not good life, right? And that is where, what are the components that will make India prosperous going forward, or any society? And those components, when they go away, the richest societies will fail. You have seen recently some of the richest societies over last 300-400 years, which have amassed, or which had amassed, including subjugating us, wealth for themselves, are slowly going down. For me, there are few points which, if we consider today, India is in a great position to come up in next 20, 30, 50, 100 years. One of them is trust. Trust amongst ourselves. We all consider, with all our differences, all our arguments. I mean, if you watch the TV channels, you might be thinking that India must be having riots in every corner. And probably every home we have riots sometimes 5 minutes a day. But other 23 hours and 55 minutes we are peaceful, right? And so it is the trust of the people, with all our differences, all our arguments. We trust all of us as one nation, right? That is so beautiful. It is not true in America, because that is not the purpose. It is not true in Europe, because Europe is itself divided into so many countries. There is no one concept. It's an artificial situation that has been created. But India is not artificial. India is there in every Indian's mind. And not today, 5,000 years back. Bharatvarsha was there. And that trust is now percolating into other activities. It took us some time to regroup ourselves, because we had not managed our society for last 1,000 years. But it has helped today, after 78, 79 years of watching ourselves and regrouping ourselves in states, in municipalities, in panchayats, in center, all the ministries. We have now grouped ourselves very well. And today, I mean, if you ask somebody that I am starting a business, or I require 10,000 rupees or 1 lakh rupees, who will give you money? The banker will give you, the lender will give you. But if you ask your family, it's very difficult to get that, because they know most probably it will not come back. But the same people are putting money into unknown people, which are called entrepreneurs. In last year alone, NSE raised 17 lakh crore rupees. 17 lakh crore rupees was raised using NSE last year for corporates from other people. 1.7 lakh crore rupees in equities. What is equity? When you invest in a share, you are actually buying a small little part of a business. That if that business does well, the profits, that small little part will come to you. A person today sitting in Jorhat, in Dibrugarh, in the remotest corner of India, I have in NSE now shareholders in every pin code in India except 28. India has 19,300 plus pin codes, out of which only 28 pin codes don't have NSE investor. I have people in Arunachal Pradesh, I have people in Ladakh, I have people in Andaman Nicobar. So every pin code except 28, out of which 25 must be airports where nobody can stay full time. So we can't do KYC, know your client. Right? Because that person, if he gives the address of airport, then how do you find him in that crowd? So you have to have at least a house address and PAN number and all. And that's how today I have 11.8 crore unique PAN numbers registered with me. They invest, small little people, 1,000 rupees. That person sitting in Jorhat or Dibrugarh is investing in a factory in Salem, in Tamil Nadu. She's never going to visit that factory, but she has that complete faith in that entrepreneur in Salem. She's trusting, right? We have created that wealth of trust. So for me, the nation which trusts itself, now it has started trusting itself. Today, NSE represents the wealth of trust in 2,800 companies by way of equities of $5.1 trillion. 1/3 of India's wealth is now wealth of trust. So that was my first part, that the country which trusts itself, the nation which trusts itself, its entrepreneurs. So many times I say in 78 years of our independence, what did we achieve? Whatever else we achieved, but what we achieved most is the trust of our small people into our entrepreneurs. Whatever any political party says that entrepreneurs are bad, slowly people have come to know that the only people who are good, who are giving jobs and also sharing of profits are entrepreneurs. And what is the power the exchange has, stock exchange, NSE has? The power is that we can get the information from the company and put it on our website. That is the only power we have. If the company doesn't give, we have to keep on asking. After some time, we have to stop trading in that company. But still, those entrepreneurs have also not belied the trust. They have kept up the trust. Dhirubhai Ambani started a small plant. In 1977, he listed his company. Today, it is the largest company in India. Person who came from Eden, it used to be part of India in those days. It was managed by India, the Gulf countries in the British time. So he had gone as a petrol pump attendant, he came back, started this firm. Anandan Nilekarni and Narayan Murthy from Bangalore. They started a firm, not from traditional business class, right? They became billionaires, but they made many people millionaires because they invested in their shares. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if India will come up in next 50, 100, 200 years and remains prosperous, it will be on the back of the stock market, NSE. The second part is demographics. The countries which are going to produce more are the countries which have young people. Countries which have older people, they cannot produce more. You can see China's last 40 years growth. Till 2015, they were adding newer and newer, younger and younger, more people into the job market. 2016 onwards, the people coming into job market started reducing. Today, China is losing 2 to 5 million people in their population every year, but it's going to accelerate. By 2100, it is estimated, by year 2100, it is estimated that China will be half of India's size in population. The country which has 4 people to take care of by one grandchild or 8 people to take care of by one grandchild cannot produce more. That country is going to ask for a lot of health care, not production. And so the demographics, if you start from Japan, is an old country. China has become suddenly old because of one-child policy. Then India is the only young, large, forward-looking nation. And then you have both sides, one Pakistan, one Bangladesh, who are young countries but who want to go back to lifestyle of 1,500 years back. And then you have Europe, which has become a museum. All old people. America will become old if Indians don't go there. So what remains is that demographics is actually very important for any society's progress going forward. And that is where India, in next 30, 40, 50 years, is going to remain young. And that's where it's going to produce more, it's going to have more demand. Because at my age, my phone is like 7, 8 year old. My trouser is 20-year-old. I don't require, wear the same shirt and pant for last 30 years. I don't require any other color, white and blue. Whereas young people require a lot of things, right? So they require demand. There is demographics, then young demographics gets more demand, more production, right? So that's where India is going to score. The third part is technology. The technology is the only change that brings that prosperity, because it makes older things done in a newer way, faster way, better way. So what used to produce now can be produced by robotics and other things, or drones or other things, AI. The technology is the only change that happens in the world. And who can learn that newer technology? So young people. You have bought a new phone, it's very difficult for you to figure out what it can do, but you give it to your 2-year-old grandson, he will figure out in 2 seconds, start playing games. Young people learn newer technologies, that's why they produce more wealth. The societies which create more wealth, and earlier, you required a lot of capital to create businesses. None of us had. 1,000 years we have been subjugated. We did not have capital. But today, the modern technology doesn't require a lot of capital to start newer businesses, to create more businesses. Nandan Nilekani, Narayan Murthy had no money. Dhirubhai also had no money, but that's still 30, 40 years back. Today, thousands and thousands of young boys and girls are starting their businesses, and many of them will become billionaires using technology. And that is what, because it requires little capital, earlier you require more capital to create more capital or more money. That's why it was called capitalism. That came out of a UK experiences of Karl Marx and Engels. That lot of only few people had money and they were making other people work for them and create more money. Today, less capital is required. Now we have become also slightly prosperous, not very prosperous. So we can also invest in those young people's dreams. And again, where will you invest through? Through a stock exchange, right? So that's why every day I have 3, 4, 5 new listings coming up from the small markets, SME market, where young people who have little businesses, they want to come up and grow up, not only India, but across the world. And we are not a culture which is trying to subjugate anyone else. We are trying to come up ourselves along with the world. And that is where, again, India's future for next 30, 40, 50 years. I have a hypothesis that in next 40, 50 years, the world will create more wealth using technology than what has been created in last 10,000 years. And the young technology-oriented societies are going to create most of that wealth. India with 17% of world population, 20% of youth population will, and probably 30% of world's technology-oriented, hard-working population. You go to America, people want to go to beaches on Thursday night itself. They don't wait for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. France wants to work 4 days a week. Here we work 24/7, 365 days. With COVID, without COVID, with flood, without flood, we will swim, but we will go and work, right? So this is the hard-working nation, this is a trusting nation, and this is the nation on the rise. So as Narendra Modi ji says, arise and take the nation forward. Thank you very much.